You know when you're at the supermarket and see that TV on sale, or when you feel like ordering food through an app because the day was just too hectic and you think, I'll just pay for it with my card later? Well, that's a very common trap. But let me tell you a story. Jerome was a simple guy. He worked Monday through Saturday, earned a tight salary, and like many people, he had a credit card. At first, he only used it for emergencies, but little by little he got used to it. A new pair of sneakers here, a dinner out there, an installment for a new phone. And before he knew it, he was only paying the minimum amount on his bill every month. The problem? He thought he was keeping things under control, when in reality, he was digging himself into a deeper and deeper hole. Then he watched a video about financial education and heard this phrase, "The credit card isn't the villain. But if you treat it like extra income, it becomes an invisible monster that drains you from the inside." That clicked for him. From that day on, Jerome decided to change. He started writing down everything he bought with the card and only used it for things he already had the money set aside to pay for. He would only pay in installments if it was absolutely necessary, and even then, he'd make sure it fit his budget. Over time, he realized the card could be an ally, especially for earning points, tracking expenses, and even getting cash back, but only if used with discipline and planning. The real shift came when Jerome stopped seeing the card as magic money and started treating it as a strategic financial tool. And that's when everything changed, because in the end, here's the secret. The problem isn't the card, it's how you use it. If you take the reins and choose to be in charge of your decisions, credit turns from a villain into an ally. And that's a lesson that can make all the difference on your journey toward financial freedom. Have you ever wondered why some people manage to move forward in life even earning little, while others always struggle no matter how much they make? The answer, most of the time, lies in something simple: knowledge. It's not how much you earn that determines your financial future. It's how much you understand about what to do with that money. A lot of people grow up hearing that money is difficult, that it's something only for the rich, that this isn't for me. So they go through life guessing, surviving, without ever actually learning how money works. Now imagine this. Someone hands you a powerful tool, but you never learned how to use it. It's dangerous, right? You could get hurt, break something, or even suffer losses. It's the same with money. If you don't understand it, it slips through your fingers. It controls you, not the other way around. The good news is no one has to stay in the dark. Today, access to knowledge is everywhere. In your phone, a borrowed book, a well-made video. It's not about memorizing technical terms or becoming an expert. It's about understanding the basics, how to save, how to organize what comes in and what goes out, how to stop falling into traps that make you work a lot and have little left. Learning about financial education is like opening a door. On the other side, there's more clarity, more control, and most importantly, freedom. So here's the question: how willing are you to learn? Because getting rich doesn't start with money in your pocket. It starts with knowledge in your head. You know that moment when you look at your paycheck and think, it's not enough, it's gone before it even begins. That's more common than you think. The problem is, most people stop there. They accept that this is just the way it is and keep living on the edge. But there's another way: creating new sources of income. And we're not talking about luck or magic formulas. We're talking about real opportunities all around you, sometimes right under your nose. Let me tell you about Jerome. He worked as a doorman in a building. Fair salary, tough schedule, always living paycheck to paycheck. But Jerome had a talent. He was good at fixing things. He knew how to handle wires, fix outlets, replace faucets. Small things, but things everyone needs. One day, he realized that many residents were always asking for electricians and plumbers for simple tasks. That's when he had the idea. He started offering help during his free time. With politeness and professionalism, he gained people's trust. And what started as a small fix here and there became a steady extra income. The best part, João didn't quit his job. He used his free time to build something extra. And that extra allowed him to pay off debts, start saving, and eventually invest in courses in the field. Creating a new income stream isn't about having tons of free time, it's about having the will to do it. It could be selling a product, offering a service, cooking something you're good at, using the internet to offer something useful. The important thing is to take the first step and get moving. Because when you rely on a single source of income, any unexpected event becomes a threat. But when you have more than one, you start building security. And with security comes freedom. It doesn't matter if the income is small at first. What matters is that it becomes the first step of a ladder that you are building yourself. Now, this last part may be one of the most important and most misunderstood when we talk about building wealth, especially on a low income. After all, what are assets and what are liabilities? Let's simplify. An asset is anything that puts money in your pocket. A liability is anything that takes money out of your pocket. Sounds simple, right? But this is exactly where a lot of people get confused. Want an example? A lot of people think that buying a brand new car, for instance, is a step toward wealth. After all, it's a valuable asset, right? But the truth is that in most cases, that car is a liability. It depreciates over time, requires fuel, maintenance, insurance, taxes, and rarely gives you any financial return. In other words, it only takes money. Now, something as simple as a course that teaches you a valuable skill can be an asset if it helps you earn more. A rental property is an asset. A small online store you build at home that makes sales while you sleep is an asset. Shares of good companies that pay you dividends over time are also assets. The problem is that most people, for lack of guidance, spend their lives accumulating liabilities thinking they're getting rich. They buy new phones on installment, trade cars for status, go into debt for things that bring no return, and then wonder why the money is never enough. And here's the most important point. It's not about how much you earn, it's about what you do with what you earn. Imagine you earn 1,000 reais per month. You can spend all of it on clothes, leisure, or on installment purchases, and that's it, it's gone. Or you could set aside just 50 reais and invest it in something that will bring returns in the future. Wealth doesn't come to those who spend best. It comes to those who invest best. When you understand the difference between assets and liabilities, you start looking at your money differently. You stop asking, what can I buy? And start asking, will this bring me a return? Will it help me earn more? Will it generate freedom? That's the turning point. It doesn't matter where you are today. What matters is where you can go if you learn to build your life based on assets, even starting small, because getting rich, at the end of the day, is not about working until you drop. It's about putting your money to work for you. The truth is, we all have the same 24 hours in a day. The difference lies in how each person chooses to use them. Of course, after a long day at work, the thing you want most is to sit on the couch, watch something light, and forget your problems. And it's totally fine to do that once in a while. The problem is, when that habit becomes a routine and the time that could be used to change your life slips away day after day without you realizing it. Now think with me. What if you took just 1 hour of your day, just one, to do something that brings you closer to financial freedom? It could be learning a new skill, researching investments, creating a plan to sell a service or product you're good at, or even organizing your finances to understand where every cent is going. 1 hour, just that. Do you know what happens to someone who dedicates 1 hour per day for a year to learning something new or building a project? They level up. And this is not theory, it's real. I've seen people who started from zero with a simple phone studying digital marketing or crafts in their free time, and within a few months they were already selling their products, gaining clients, earning extra income, until that 1 hour a day became a new life path. But none of this happens if your free time is handed over to distractions that build nothing. Social media, binge-watching series, empty conversations, purposeless hangouts. All of that might feel good in the moment, but they don't bring returns. And when you add up all those lost hours throughout the week, the month, the year, you realize how big the missed opportunity was. Using your free time wisely is not about being exhausted or overloaded. It's about understanding that time is also a form of wealth, maybe the most valuable of all. Because money you lose, you can recover, but time, it never comes back. If you feel stuck, like you're not moving forward, maybe the secret isn't working more. It's using the spaces you already have in your day in a better way. Imagine getting on a bus without knowing where it's going. You sit down, look out the window, but have no idea where the final destination will be. You might end up somewhere. Good, but you might also end up far from where you wanted to be. That's what happens to those who deal with money without clear goals. The person earns, spends, survives, but has no idea where they want to go. And when they realize it, years have gone by and everything is still the same. Now, when you have a goal, everything changes. You stop walking in the dark and start moving with purpose. But what are clear financial goals? It means knowing, for example, how much you want to save by the end of the year. When you want to pay off that debt that bothers you, how much you need to save each month to travel, buy a car, stop renting, or start investing. What the minimum amount is that you want to have in your emergency fund. And it doesn't need to be a huge goal at first. It can be simple, realistic, but still challenging. The secret is giving your goal a name and a deadline. Example, I want to save $2,000 in 10 months. Done. Now you know you need to save $200 per month. And knowing that, it becomes easier to say no to impulsive spending, unnecessary purchases or outings that will weigh on your credit card. Goals help you make better decisions. They act like a GPS. They show you the way and remind you of your destination even when the journey gets tiring. And do you know what the best part is? Hitting a goal, no matter how small, gives you confidence. It makes you realize that yes, you are capable, and that motivates you to go after the next one and then another. Until, before you know it, you're doing things you once thought were impossible. So today, if you don't have any defined financial goals, stop for a few minutes. Grab a piece of paper and a pen, or take notes on your phone. Ask yourself, what do I want to achieve with my money? In how much time? What do I need to do to get there? That clarity will change the way you handle every single reel that passes through your hands, because those who have a goal have direction, and those with direction go further. Have you ever noticed how the people around you influence your choices? If you're surrounded by people who constantly talk about how money is never enough, who believe this is not for people like us, or who spend non-stop on things that add no value, chances are those attitudes will end up influencing you, too. Now imagine if you started surrounding yourself with people who think big, who talk about investments, who discuss business opportunities, who are always seeking growth. I'm not saying you have to abandon your family or friends, but it is important to seek and invest in relationships that encourage you to grow, that challenge you to improve, and that share a positive mindset. Back when I started pursuing financial change, I realized I was spending most of my time with people who only talked about problems and how hard life was. And that impacted me until one day I found a group of people who were always talking about how to improve, how to grow, what they were learning. And little by little, my mindset started to shift. What happens is that when you start surrounding yourself with people who have goals similar to yours, your vision expands. You learn faster and start seeing opportunities where you used to only see obstacles. The energy and mindset of those around you can be contagious. And believe me, that positive energy will push you to make better decisions and act more effectively. It's like putting yourself in an environment where ideas flow, inspiration shows up, and opportunities are seen more clearly. If you're trying to change your life, but are still in the same place physically and socially, maybe it's time to seek out new circles. You can find this in study groups, networking events, online communities focused on finances, or even in people you don't know personally yet but who share similar ideas, and more than that. By changing the environment around you, you also become a more motivated person. The conversations and ideas we exchange have the power to strengthen our own beliefs. So if you're surrounded by people who don't believe in the potential of money, in the power of investing, or in the value of growth, it'll be much harder for you to believe in it too. Now, what can you do starting today? Start looking for those groups or talk more to friends or family members who have a positive outlook on financial growth. Those connections are the key to going further. Remember, the environment you choose to place yourself in is fundamental to your success. If you want to grow financially, surround yourself with people who are already heading in the direction you want to go. Have you noticed how many people look for quick solutions? They want to see money coming in right away. They want that immediate return, that quick gain, whether through high-risk investments, gambling, or even buying things they don't need just to show off their status. This desire for fast results is what holds us back in the long run. Robert Kiyosaki often talks about the importance of thinking long-term when making financial decisions. He's not saying you have to wait 20 or 30 years to see results, but that consistency and patience are key. True and lasting wealth comes from the decisions you make today with the mindset that they will bear fruit in the future. Sounds difficult, right? The temptation of instant gratification is always there. The urge to spend, to do something that brings instant pleasure, is huge. But the key is to understand that what you do now has a major impact on your future. When you choose to save and invest, instead of spending everything you earn, you're putting your money to work for you. At first, it may seem like it's taking too long or you're not seeing big results. But the truth is that compound interest makes all the difference. The math behind compounding is simple. Over time, small amounts of money consistently invested grow exponentially. You start with a small amount, but it grows month after month, year after year, until at some point you realize your investments are generating truly significant returns. This happens when you don't get desperate for quick results and instead stick to a long-term strategy. Another part of this is that when you think long-term, you understand that financial success isn't about getting rich overnight, but about building a solid foundation. This requires discipline, patience, and planning. It's like planting a tree. At first, you don't see it grow, but you know that with time, it will become strong and fruitful. And most importantly, true wealth is not just in what you have, but in how you manage it. Lasting wealth isn't built on impulse decisions, but on conscious actions that persist over time. So next time you feel the temptation to make an impulsive purchase or look for a shortcut, remember that every decision you make now will reflect in your future. If you build a long-term mindset, you'll find that the choices that seem hard today will become major advantages tomorrow. Investing, saving, planning, and staying committed even when the temptation to spend or chase fast results hits hard, that's the secret to achieving true financial independence. It's the difference between just making it to the end of the month and building a solid and lasting financial life. Many people believe the secret to getting rich lies only in how much you earn, but the truth is, how you use your time is even more important. The way you invest your time will shape your future, and this is one of the greatest assets you have right now. When you don't have extra money, it may feel like there's not much you can do, but time is always on your side. Sounds simple, but let's go deeper. Imagine you have a few free hours in the evening or on weekends. You could, for instance, relax by watching TV, scrolling through social media, or simply disconnecting. And don't get me wrong, rest and leisure are essential, but the question is, are you also using that time to improve your financial life? Maybe you have a few free hours that could be used to learn something new, start a side project, or even research new ways to invest the little you already have. The time you spend scrolling aimlessly or procrastinating could be used to create new opportunities. I'm not saying to work 24/7, but to make conscious choices about how you invest your time. For example, have you considered using that free time to study investing? There are many free and paid resources, books, videos, podcasts, and online courses that can teach you how to invest more wisely. You can learn to identify financial opportunities that, in the future, may generate significant returns. Or maybe you have a skill you could monetize. Maybe you're good at writing, drawing, giving advice, teaching English, taking photos. Whatever it is, use your free time to turn those skills into an extra income stream. And believe me, over time, that small step can make a big difference. As you start generating extra money, you can use that resource to invest even more and accelerate your financial growth. Another important point, during your free time, you can also reflect on your personal finances. Often, we're so busy that we don't stop to think about our relationship with money, the decisions we're making, and where we can improve. Take some time to analyze what's working and what's not, to better understand where you can cut expenses or how you can start investing. Now, I know it can seem hard, especially if you already have a busy schedule and feel overwhelmed. But the truth is, small changes in how you use your time can have a tremendous impact in the long run. If you dedicate a bit of your free time to building a more stable and prosperous financial future, you'll be investing in the greatest asset. You have your own potential. So, the next time you're tempted to relax or waste time, think about the opportunities you might be missing. Every moment counts. And what did you think of this message? If you enjoyed it and feel these tips could help someone you know, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss more content like this. Oh, and share this video with someone you know who also needs to hear these tips and start transforming their financial life. Let's go together on this journey towards success. See you in the next video.